Hey everyone, Tyler here with Inverted Access, taking a look at Pharaonic. I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4. It's also available for PC and will be coming soon to Xbox One. The game costs $16 and is by the developer Milkstone Studios. The other game I've played by them is called Ziggurat, which is a first-person roguelike game. This game is very different from that one. This one is actually a 2D side-scrolling action game that takes a lot of its influences in combat from the Dark Souls series. You'll see in just a moment when I get into another battle with the enemy what kind of influences it takes from the Dark Souls games. Right here you'll see I found a new piece of head armor, a helmet, in that treasure chest. That's one of the 3 different pieces of armor in the game. Armor affects 2 stats, your defense stat as well as your weight. It's a little bit different in Dark Souls how the encumbrance works. In this game there's no actual encumbrance that's going to slow you down. It just takes away from the amount of stamina that you have to attack. But you'll never be so encumbered that your roll has been slowed down or your movement speed has been slowed down like what happens in the Dark Souls series. Right now I'm heading back to a shrine. You pray to these shrines and it refills your magic and your health, as well as your canteens, which are used as health regeneration potions. So almost exactly like bonfires in the Dark Souls series. Every time you go to one of those shrines, all the enemies will respawn as well. So the game is 2D, but you see there I actually walk downstairs. There's a pseudo third dimension, and you can look at this map that I'm checking out real quick as well. Kind of gives you an idea how the game only scrolls at any one time in 2D, but you can kind of change planes back and forth, and there's a lot of different pathways to take. So you'll always want to explore, and you'll want to pick up a map as soon as you get the chance. So now I'm fighting an enemy with a long spear. It's a pretty basic enemy. I shouldn't have too much trouble with him. You can see I blocked his spear attack and then attack him. The little green arrows that appear above my head are another way to signify that my stamina is out. So instead of just having to look at my stamina bar at the top of the screen, the game also tells me by that little alert. And now here I'm going to fight kind of a mini boss for the area. I actually die this first time, but it'll give you a better idea of the combat and how it works. There are 2 different attack styles in the game, a light attack and a heavy attack, that are both executed using the right triggers. The left triggers are reserved for your shields to block attacks, as well as parrying if you want to try and parry enemy attacks. I'm not very good at parrying. You won't see much of that in this video. There I took a couple of big shots with my stamina down because I wasn't paying attention to it, and I died. Dying works very similar to Dark Souls as well. You will be reincarnated at the last prayer statue that you visited. You'll be completely refilled with your health and your canteens, and all the enemies will be back. You'll see as I get closer to where that boss was again, I'll also find my memories or recover my memories, which is the same thing as finding your lost souls in Dark Souls. Memories are basically XP. It's a little bit simpler version. You don't use them to purchase anything. It's just for leveling up. You can see the small little number 4 in the top left corner. That's my current level, and when I pick up my experience, it will bring back a large portion of the experience bar that I lost in that fight. I'm really enjoying the game so far. It's kind of a simple take on Dark Souls. It would be excellent for beginners or someone who kind of wants to get an idea of how the Dark Souls games work without jumping right into the extreme RPG settings of it. Like I said, there's only 3 different types of armor in this game. There's not as many stats that you have to worry about. The encumbrance works differently. It only affects your stamina. It doesn't actually affect your speed. And the leveling up is much simpler. There's no complex skill trees. Every time you level up, you just get an increase in your health, stamina, and magic bar. So overall, it's much more simple, but it's still very enjoyable. The 2D combat is a lot of fun. The boss fights are really some of the harder fights. A lot of the regular enemies so far have been fairly easy, but I'm still early into the game. A little bit later, you'll run into situations where you get swarmed from, 3 to 6 enemies at one time, and then that does get a lot more difficult as well. So there on my second try, I was able to beat that mini boss. She dropped a new piece of head armor for me, as well as some gold. The gold can be used with vendors that are scattered across the game to purchase supplies and other items. I'll head to the left now to turn a switch that will open up a new area for me to explore. The game is segmented into many different areas. Most come with their own map that you'll usually want to acquire right away from the vendor or from one of the other NPCs who is selling it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. This has been Pharaonic on PlayStation 4. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching.